Hey folks, Jim and Leila here for this week's episode of Geeking Out. We've got 8 comics to get to and a bunch of news, so I'm going to let you start.
Alright. Secret Avengers 21.1.
I hate the 1.1. Oh.
Yeah, well, you know, Marvel says this is, you know, a way of telling people it's a good point to jump onto a book if you see a .1. So
Personally, I would jump off if I saw 21.1.
Yeah.
Like,
you know, so I thought, well, I don't read Secret Avengers all the time, so, you know, let's check it out and see if I sort of understand what's going on. So, in this one, Captain America is looking for someone to lead an undercover Avengers squad, like, secret.
It's a secret.
Yeah. And is Hawkeye the man for the job? Cap aims to find out during a mission to save an American senator and stumbles upon a new plot by the Shadow Council. Okay, so I kind of liked this, and I can see how it is like a jumping on point book. It's just a filler story to catch you up on some of the characters and then go forward from there. So if you pick up the next book, number 22, I'm sure it doesn't directly come out of this one. This is just more of one of those the State of the Union kind of things. But I did like it. It's a good story by Remender. It explores the relationships between these two characters pretty well, exposing the flaws and talents of both of them. And there's an excellent twist in the middle that was surprising, and there's a surprising character cameo that I thought was cool. The art isn't anything special in this. It doesn't take away from the story at all, but it's just not eye-popping or anything like that either. It's just sort of average. So if you're looking to grab onto an Avengers book, you know, this is a good place to start. You get to see more about Hawkeye, which might be cool going into the new movie, for people who are not that familiar about that character.
Hawkeye dies in the first 5 minutes.
So, you know, for that, it might be kind of interesting.
Next up, we have Rachel Rising, number 5. And in this one, Rachel recounts her memory of rising from her shallow grave, while young girl Zoe deals with an abusive foster parent with bloody results. As always, this series is getting better and better as it goes along. Mm-hmm. Lots more of the mystery is a little bit more solved in this one.
Right.
You learn how, of course, Rachel rose from the grave by clawing off another body.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some really dark elements in here. Zoe kills the abusive foster person with an elevator door.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's quite a bit of blood. There's a really good story going on. You actually really feel for the characters. It's what Terry Moore does best. It's simply fantastic. It's one of my favorite series this year. And last year, too.
Alright, next up we've got King Conan, number 1. So, you know, we've got another new Conan series going on, so I thought, well, let's check it out, because Road of Kings was kind of good. Mm-hmm. So, in this one, Primus, the scribe, goes to the palace of King Conan to chronicle the story of his rule. Conan recalls how he came to rule Aquilonia and the plot to dethrone him. I thought it was pretty good. The story is going to resonate well for Conan fans. You know, it's that whole, like, chronicle. You can almost hear the voiceover in the movie, you know, at the beginning.
I hear the lamentations of the women.
It's a classic kind of story. There's, you know, a very familiar villain in it. I'm not going to give that away because it's part of the story. But the art really isn't my cup of tea. I would have liked more clean lines and not so much like shadows, so many shadows covering everything up. But I guess that could be somewhat fitting for Conan if you want to go with that whole, like, torch-lit, small...
Well, it works.
It works in those scenes, but not in the others. Like,
yeah, when you're in a light-type field, then no, that type of drawing style does not work.
Yeah, exactly. So there were parts where I was like, that's kind of cool, and then there's other parts where I was like, I really don't like this.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, that's just me, because I've seen some other artists do Conan that I really like more. But it wasn't that bad overall. If you're a Conan fan, it's a pretty good read.
Next up, we have a viewer send-in from Crystal Fractal Comics, who sent us a few comics. We'll be dealing with the 4 comics they sent us over the next 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. First up, I've got Redorik, number 1. And in this one, high school student Justin Henderson discovers his friend is running packages for a local mob boss, but Justin must deal as well with how to get the girl and if all the thoughts in his head are truly his own. There's some weird stuff going on in this book. This one's written by Howard Wong, who's a good friend of mine. I love Howard's writing. This is really underwhelmingly done for the first issue. Yeah. It's got good characters. As always, Howard writes a very good character study for characters. But there's really not too much that goes on.
Yeah, so it's just too slow to really.
It's very slow and slow-paced and whatnot, but I like that kind of a slow plotting pace. It actually works for this book, and artwork is nice. Yeah. It's not amazing, and there's some scenes that are a little too dark, but overall, it's a very nice looking art. It's full color, so you can't go wrong there.
Sure.
So yeah, this is not too bad. I actually liked it, and if you want to try something a little different, check this book out. It's actually quite a bit of little fun.
Alright, so we got sent a little preview book for something that's coming out this week. So I'm going to, in case you guys haven't seen this on the shelves, because you don't really have a chance to buy it yet, this is called Scouts Drafted. And like I said, it's a preview for an upcoming graphic novel release from Kizoic. So in this one, Mike Manley saved up all his money to buy the sequel to his favorite video game and wants nothing more to play it all summer long, but then the unthinkable happens. His dad signs him up for Shrub Scouts. Now Mike is out to get all his badges as quickly as possible, and that's difficult when you have an absentee leader and no clue how to survive in the wilderness.
Sounds like my days in the Cub Scouts and the Beavers.
You know what? It was
being
fun.
left out in the woods alone.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just, it was
eaten
really
alive by bugs.
One of the kids eats like a raspberry or something like that, a wild raspberry. It goes all like green and it's gonna puke. And I was like, oh, that sounds familiar.
Yeah.
And one is like allergic to like oak trees. So anyway.
Yeah, sounds familiar to me.
Yeah, so this was just a lot of fun. It's great all ages book. It's got bright colors, clean animation, and endearing characters. I laughed out loud a couple of times, and this was only a preview for the entire graphic novel that'll be coming out. So, you know, if you're looking for something different for kids that's hitting, like, you know, the big themes of, you know, how they just want to play video games and not be outside, and how funny being outside could be for...
Yeah, remember when we were kids and we actually went outside?
Yeah, what's that?
Kids these days. Go for a walk, goddammit.
So, you know, it hits all of those kind of themes, and it's kind of cool. And like I said, it's got really bright colors, and I love the animation style of it. It's I really liked it. So when this does come out, apparently it's not going to be available. I guess it's available in January previews or something like that, and then so it won't be coming out till the springtime. Keep an eye open for this one. I really enjoyed it.
Next up, we have the complete polar opposite of Scouts Drafted, Alice in Wonderland #1 from Zenescope. And in this one, decades ago, a girl named Alice was sacrificed into the horror-filled realm of Wonderland. But what really happened to her has been shrouded in mystery, till now.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, yeah, this is your typical Zenescope Alice in Wonderland story. Yeah, there's lots of bad stuff happening. Basically, there's like 2 Alices and everything. This fits into the other Wonderland series that Zenescope has.
Oh, okay.
So you find out what happened to Alice Little in Wonderland and what happened to her doppelganger in the real world, etc., etc. It's interesting plot.
Right.
It's actually better written than a lot of the Zenescope stuff I've wrote.
Yeah, usually it's
reviewed.
Beautiful, but not much substance.
Oh, as always, the art is beautiful, as I've always said. Every time the Zenescope does a book, they do gorgeous art. That's what they're really good at. But I was surprised. Actually, pretty competent storytelling here. I was surprised, so I enjoyed it. And that's a really good thing for me.
Yeah,
I actually do want to see what happens in this and hope that it actually fits into the rest of the continuity with the other series, because it's not a bad read. It's not a bad read at all. So if you're a fan of the dark fairy tale stuff, you're going to really, really enjoy this. Because I actually did too.
Okay, and then last but not least for me is one of our send-ins from Crystal Fractal Comics. So this is Dr.Twilight, The Crossing. This is #2, so I reviewed #1 before. Yeah,
we did #1 last year.
Yes, so it was good to get, you know, a continuation of that. So in this one, the Chung brothers, Gaspar and Teresa, head to the crossing. We get catch a glimpse into the life of the maniacal Elizabeth Windsor, which, by the way, that was awesome. And Hedwig gets a glimpse of the future. So I really like the art by Jinky Corrado. Hopefully I say that right.
Jinky Carano.
Yeah, that's one. Yeah, I love that art in the last story. It just leaps off the page. with the details and the scope of everything. To me, that was my favorite bit of art in the book, and because there's a few different artists over, there's like several stories tying
Jinky also did a book called Bonsai Girl a couple of years ago, which I really enjoyed. So yeah, if you're a fan of that, you're gonna love this.
Yeah. So like, it's not that same art all the way through, but again, that part just really stood out to me. As someone who, you know, I'm somewhat familiar with the characters that are going on here, but not with the, you know, entire universe. It's a little bit confusing at times, but I do appreciate that the world that they're trying to build here, like a larger universe of characters, and I do think Dr. Twilight is a really interesting character based on a strong concept. So keep up the good work there, guys. I would just say, I don't know, maybe a little, I know it's supposed to be that we're trying to catch up in some ways to some of these characters, but perhaps a little bit of a bio maybe on some of the important ones, or at least part of it. Don't give me everything, but give me a place to start.
Leave some mystery.
Leave some mystery. Don't give me everything, but give me, you know, a little bit of a, I don't know, like a thing in the back where it's like a picture of the character and like a little bit about them or whatever. I don't want it all given to me, but maybe that would be a little bit helpful just to help me tie everything together in my brain. Especially if you're using different artists from book to book and it's sometimes harder to recognize characters. That would be helpful for me, but otherwise I really like everything else that's going on in this book and I really enjoyed reading it.
And last and certainly not least is Infestation 2, #1. And in this one, Lovecraftian demons and demigods threaten to reach across time and space and destroy everyone, everywhere, and everywhen. Okay, so this is...
Infestation!
This is the second Infestation multi-crossover, multi-universe book.
And we're crossing over into slightly different things this time.
Yeah, it's got Transformers, Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, Danger Girl.
That's new, the Danger Girl, right?
And a couple others, but I don't remember all of them. But interesting. I like that they actually use Lovecraft in this book.
Really?
Yeah. What actually happens in this book is that Lovecraft has somehow slipped into and learned about the world of the demigods and stuff, and basically he's opened the realm.
Interesting.
And let the demons and whatnot slip in. So it's an interesting concept, and to connect all the universes together was really interesting, and I quite enjoyed it. Now, what really excites me is the upcoming Transformers Infestation.
Yeah, well, I always like those.
It's going to continue off where the Hearts of Steel.
Oh, really?
Which I really enjoyed. The steampunk type Transformers. So I'm actually looking forward to reading the first and second part of that, because I really enjoyed Hearts of Steel, and to be back in that universe again will be a lot of fun. This is okay. It's not a perfect story, but it's fun. So if you want to check it out, please do. It's interesting. Alright, so before we go, we got some news to get to. And the Bone movie is moving ahead.
Yeah, interesting.
Now, here's the thing. We don't know if it's going to be live action, animation, or CG. Personally, I think Bone would only work as a 2D animated film. I can't really see it working as a CG film, but it's being written by Patrick Sean Smith, who does that ABC family show called Greek. It's going to be directed by P.J. Hogan, who did Muriel's Wedding, and the terribly abysmal live-action Peter Pan from a few years ago. I did not like that at all. But
that doesn't speak to this, hopefully.
No, and it's being produced by Dan Lin's Animal Logic Studio, which did Happy Feet 1 and 2 and Legend of the Guardians.
Yeah, which I enjoyed all that, so hey.
Yep. And other than that, we got some other news of another anime and manga closure. Bandai has gone belly up and is basically out of business now. Really?
That's kind of a big one.
Yeah. Basically, as of February, Bandai will cease releasing new anime and manga. The company will continue to sell catalog titles, and its operation will shift to licensing and digital distribution, broadcast, merchandising. All the rights revert back to the licensors.
Wow.
And titles currently in print will continue to be available until their licenses expire.
Wow.
So if you still want like Cowboy Bebop and Escaflowne and stuff like that, then you can still get it.
Yeah.
At least until the licenses expire, and then they will produce no more until someone else buys a license. So that's basically what's going on there. So yeah, anything that you ordered from Bandai would be shipping in March or anything isn't going to be coming out.
Yeah.
No more manga, no more anime. So basically,
but they're going to be selling. But they're going to be doing merchandising products. So like anything involved in their product lines, they can still sell like other stuff, like T-shirts and blah blah blah. That's what they'll be going for.
That's what they're doing.
Gotcha.
So basically, they're just getting out of the DVD business and the manga business.
Gotcha.
They're still doing all the toys and everything, like the Power Rangers toys, because they make a mint on those.
Yeah.
And yeah, so they're just basically pulling out of the anime industry in North America, like many others have in the last few years. So that's about it. That's the news for this week, and we will see you next week. Have a good one. See you later.